that way. So
yep, absolutely. So today is our normal Monday show for game week. We are going to discuss Brian Kelly's press conference. Some news came out, if anybody was following anything with that. But the biggest news, Brian, is that Marist Liufau is out for the season.
Yeah, that was
devastating.
Disappointing news. Yeah,
very
disappointing news.
Very disappointing.
You know, as I said last week, it was kind of interesting. I was getting information from all over the place. You know, when we first reported that he was out, we were told season ending, but we wanted to let it play out. Then I had a couple of people tell me, oh, it's not going to be as long. It may only be 4 weeks, which I didn't necessarily buy either. Right. And I said, let's just wait till Kelly's PC. And then he announced today he's out for the year. So, and it was a break in his leg, not a break in his foot, was the other thing he cleared up, which is actually for long term is actually better. Right. Because I always get nervous when, you know how I am about foot injuries, Vince.
Oh yeah.
So in some regards, this is a positive for his future. It's just really bad for his season. And of course, we'll talk about, we'll get into the depth chart aspect of that. But it just is disappointing for Marist because this is a kid that just gives you everything he has. And he was really breaking out, according to people I was talking to, really breaking out, like was going to be one of their top defensive players.
Right.
You said he looked great in the scrimmage you saw. So this is a big loss.
Yeah, it's a huge loss. He had really taken that will position and made it his own. And look, and I'm not saying anything bad about J.D. Bertrand or Shane Simon necessarily, but Marist took just such a leap forward that he just had a stranglehold on that starting position, and it was every man for himself behind him. And now things kind of get shuffled up again. And, we're going to talk about the depth chart in a little bit. Mm-hmm. But yeah, losing Marist is a huge blow. And there's talent at the will, and we may see some guys moving around a little bit more. But that's a huge loss for this defense because he was the perfect fit for what Marcus Freeman wants to do with his linebackers, just disruptive and all of that. And he would have been a great fit. So disappointing for sure. If there's a silver lining, obviously it's the fact that it was the leg, also the fact that this happened during fall camp. So they've had an opportunity to make some adjustments.
2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, 2 whole weeks to number one, get whoever's going to start in there. Right. And that's going to be J.D. Bertrand, according to the depth chart. We'll get into the depth chart, but we'll talk specifically about this. But number one, I just want to encourage people. I say this every year, and I hope that y'all listen to me. Do not put a lot of stock in the depth chart. We've seen this time and time again. Guys that they list as starters don't start.
Brock Wright was the starter all last year at tight end.
Yeah, and like they got Ramon Henderson as being bigger than Cam Hart on the depth chart, right? They got Houston Griffith as a fifth-year senior, a graduate. He's not, he's a graduate, but he's not. He's a senior. And these aren't meant to be like, okay, this is exactly how it's going to play out. We say this every year, but there's like, what was the position? There was like an or all year last year, and like the ors never started. Yeah. I forget what it was.
I forget too. But
so just I mean, it's good to have, right? It's a good baseline to have, but it's not like, okay, that's out on Monday and that's how it's going to be on Saturday. Changes happen. Some guys may say, hey, this guy had a great week of practice. He's going to play more. That's how football is, right? They need to do. Look, there's a lot of schools going away from even putting depth charts out. So I greatly appreciate the fact that Notre Dame still does this. And so this isn't a criticism of Notre Dame. This is just depth charts are fluid things.
Right.
Okay. And they're not like this perfect thing where, okay, no matter what, this is how it is. They're locked into it. And it's not Brian Kelly sitting down, walking from, walking from office to office to make sure, okay, Tommy, let's go over this. Is this at, you know what I mean? It's not that. It's never been that. It's a great resource, but it's not something where it should create a lot of panic.
Yes.